Hi, it's Rachel with Stirring the Deep. I've been talking about how we are now holding, and what is beginning to happen in some people is they're beginning to hold that eternal point of perfection within them. And that means they're a part of God forever. You're always connected now. Through Christ, the connection has been made. That means you're an eternal creation. And as that light expands in you through understanding, that's how that light came initially. That's how you were sanctified, and that's also how it expands. Because light is understanding. So the more that you grow in the ways of God, that light just keeps getting brighter and brighter because your actions and your words become more, they're full of truth and understanding, okay? And that kind of faith is very powerful when it goes out through your actions and your words, and it affects what actions and words you do. So this is you becoming that star, the morning star rising in your heart. That's what Christ is. And as that goes into your reality, so now you're understanding how to walk every moment in that perfect light. And that you receive that when you have that singleness of mind. So your sole desire is to walk in it. And you have been sanctified by God, and you have seen this whole process to where now you have received that union within yourself. Believe me, you feel it, you know it, you experience the power of it. And it starts changing your personality, changing who you are. It's purifying your personality. It's like it's still you, but it's just everything is just becoming full of this beautiful, glorious, harmonious perfection in all that you are. Okay? Because there's no more darkness there, no more lies, and that's how it feels, and it's just expanding in you, and it starts to overflow into other people's lives. That's that living waters flowing out, and it's affecting their lives. Okay, so this is what this being a light means. But see, it comes from the understanding, because that's what leads you to do certain words and actions. Okay. So when that starts happening, you gain a wall of fire around you. That fire, because it is the light of God. It's that spirit within you. It's that light of God that is flowing through you. It's like you've been able, by His instruction, His understanding, so it's really Him doing it, and the renewing of your mind, to open up the channels for God's light and power to flow through. That's why you're like this living waters, because we're all fluid. Each moment is just, it's this fluidity, right? And the only thing of the past is the memory of it. So it's always changing and always evolving, and it's based on the words and the thoughts and the actions that are coming out in these present moments. So that's that living water flowing. That's why it can be bitter waters, because it's just everything's coming from a corrupted place. So everything's bitter that you're creating and that's flowing out from you. But when it's living waters, it's just this beautiful, powerful river of life. Okay, that is just a wellspring for others to partake of. It's just beautiful. But what you have, because now you have that light, God is also a consuming fire. He is the fire. So now it's like as if you have a wall of fire around you. So in that space, remember I talked about we're taking off the garments of affliction, and in this space now, there's no more affliction. There's no more of that afflicted part of your spirit. You're still learning, but you're learning in a new way, because you're receiving it right from within you. It's not coming from the outside. All that you're learning is coming from within you. So in that, your space and what you create is truly peaceful. Your actual, where you're at, doesn't have stress. You don't have worry. You don't have anxiousness. You have peace. Can you imagine? Yes, because that is what I'm experiencing. And it came from the understanding that Christ knit within me and taught me, that changed my words and actions, that were full of His power, His light, His understanding, that created this environment around me that is absolutely beautiful and peaceful and joyous and just full of growth and life. And so this is the existence. This is the kingdom of heaven coming to earth. This is what He's coming to give us. And so what happens is your reality, everything that's of death is pushed out of it. The darkness, all these things are just pushed out of it. And you have this wall of fire. So if someone tries to come at you in whatever it is, because it's just like the darkness doesn't like the light because it's revealing the darkness. So they're coming at you in judgment or whatever it is, they hit that wall of fire. So you are not harmed. But what happens is that refining fire now goes back to them. It's like a boomerang. And when that happens, then it's actually used for their good. And now I'm going to tell you something incredibly powerful. God says in Romans 8:28 that for those who love Him, He works all things for their good. Okay? For those who love Him. When you really love God, you make that choice I mentioned earlier about you want to always abide in that point of perfection. You're willing to sell all, give up all, forsake all, to abide in that. And your life shows it. You hunger and thirst for it. And you know what His promise is? You will be filled. Okay? That's His promise to you. What that means also is if you are here in the earth and you have that kind of a love, you have made that kind of commitment, just like a bride to a husband, you have given your life to abide in that perfection, hungering, thirsting for the perfection of righteousness. That's where the white garments, the acts, have the righteous acts, right? Then what does He do? He works everything for good for you. Well, you're attached to other people. So when God starts working good for you, He's working good for others because they're attached to you. Do you see? And this is how His life spreads. And that's why even if only 2 people really came to that understanding, life could grow from that. When the fullness of Christ came in them, when they came to that understanding, life could spread to all. And I hope that you see how that can be, because that is a powerful truth. And that's how it says, like just as death spread through one, and Adam was the 2, right? Adam and Eve. So life can spread through one. How much more so life? Because it's actually the power of God. It is life. It is living. It is growing. So, so powerful. So when you talk about this wall of fire, when people come against it, they get the refining fire back. It is their blessing. And when you have that Spirit of God in you, you know what you want? You want healing in this earth. You want every soul to know Him. You desire that they all come to know and abide in that love and in that unity with Him, because that is an abundant, glorious existence. And it makes every creation so beautiful and unique. And you, when experiencing God's creativity in all these people and seeing their souls just so beautiful and magnificent, and you want to partake and you want to be connected to those souls and in that bond of love. So you want everyone to experience that mercy. But you know that sometimes that means their works have to be revealed for what they are. The darkness they're living in, the hypocrisy they're living in, has to be revealed for what it is. So that means they have to experience the suffering in their life. Just whatever it takes, the minimal amount to wake them up, to make them look beyond themselves, to start seeking for that truth and to be a part of that divine nature, for the desire to be in that point of perfection. Because that's what's most loving and caring and abundant for everyone. So when someone hits you against that wall of fire, that's what it does. It boomerangs back to them, but it's refining fire. So that's actually kind of a gift to them, because that's going to help them to grow. And God governs that. He's in charge of it. He works it out perfectly. But meanwhile, with this wall of fire, so no one can harm you anymore. Okay? Because in this space of your existence, of your reality, there is complete honor, and there has to be. Because you're that vessel of God, you're holding His Spirit. And it is honoring. So you won't be able to hold it until you make this place honoring. And that's why I said you have to be purged of all your lust, all the things that draw you away from God, that compel you and pull you and entice you, because as long as those are there, it's creating a dishonoring environment. So that has to be purified. Okay, so you have this honoring environment where He dwells, but literally people don't understand this. There has always been death, and we have been in the garments of affliction always in this earth. When the kingdom of heaven is coming, we're taking those off, and I just explained how. By that light that's coming in us that basically burns them away, because we have the fullness in us. We don't need them to teach us anymore, because they're also the garments of instruction. Okay, so it's like Adam and Eve being able to take off those skins that they got after their fall, and now they can stand before God without any shame, because they have been clothed in His light. They've been reunited back to Him. They are in a perfect unity and harmony with Him. There is no more shame. They do not need to hide. And they don't need to learn in that way anymore. You will always be learning and growing for eternity, because God is eternal. That's what life does. But now you have the fullness within Him, so you learn just by Him instructing you and leading you in all the paths, because He's right there with you all the time. He's a part of your thoughts. It's just beautiful. And so this wall of fire is very real, and it does create in your spot peace. People are thinking judgment and hardships and wars and just all this thing, but you know what? God knows how to keep you in perfect peace. And these people will be popping up that are going to have a supernatural peace, and it's going to stand out against the rest of the turmoil in the world. And I'll talk in a minute about how that is how your peace is also maintained when there are raging waves. Till next time, keep stirring the deep. It's the one thing that changes everything else.